Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Damian Gray here. Today, I want to talk about how to get into the right mindset of pursuing true relevancy. Is that a word? Relevancy? I think it is. If it's not, I'm going to deem it a word today. Relevancy. Becoming relevant online. And for those of you that are starting your business, especially as a video company and wanting to grow, you have the desire to be relevant online, right? And one thing that I've had to face is when it comes to being relevant online, the desire is not, I need people to see me. I need people to see what I do, right? I need people to see this amazing stuff. The desire is when anyone comes across my platform, whether it's my website, whether it's social media, whether it's whatever it is online, my LinkedIn profile, whatever it is online, as much as I can, I want people to immediately connect with me. Connect with me as the solution that they've been looking for. And not just a person that can press record on really, expensive equipment, but a person that can actually come alongside and help facilitate a great end product and a great process. And most of the time these days, a great video plan for their business after I leave, right? And I believe in order to do that with authenticity, there has to be a purposeful desire to create content that shows that goes a little bit beyond pressing record, see me film this really cool thing at this really cool location, a good bit beyond that, and saying, how can I highlight and showcase who I am, why I am, how I am, what I do, in order that they are able to see me as the solution to their issues, right? Because there are many videographers, there are many different people that provide similar options, maybe different options. It's a very vast world, right? There's many different options for these kinds of services, right? So to say based on work alone, see me film here, that's cool. But to say, see how I literally solved this specific customer's issue, and you show the process and how you're able to do it authentically or with authenticity, that's what separates you from the competition. And I don't want to say that as in a I must win and competition must lose, because I believe there's enough work for everyone. I believe that there's a way to purposefully communicate and content create and share in a way where people can connect with who you are and thus see you as their solution with authenticity online. And so we're going to talk about kind of like 4 tips that I tend to go through when it comes to thinking about and going through this content creation. I hope that makes sense. So let's get started, right? Number 1, I like to call it how to be relevant online, calibrate, right? Now, when I think of calibrate, I think of there's like a specific path here, and I'm like all over the place, and I need to get onto this path, this solo single pathway forward that we're moving, right? But a lot of the twists and turns that get me off of that path tend to be doubt, right? The noise of the internet, FOMO. You're like, man, I feel like I might be missing out on this thing, or man, I missed this opportunity for this, and it's been a few days since I've posted, and man, my following is going to drop off of those days. Like all these things, right? My content isn't as perfectly clean and amazing as this other content creator, like all these things, right? And it can lead to just being such a distraction to where it's hard to really get onto that, again, that path that we're trying to pave for our viewers, right? For people that we're actually trying to help, right? So a lot of times when those doubts come, when I'm talking about calibrating, I want to figure out what's hindering me from getting on this path, right? So when that doubt comes, when that FOMO comes, what's causing that doubt, that imposter syndrome? Like what is it exactly? If you say, man, I'm afraid, right? I'm doubtful that this won't work, right? That what won't work, right? That me creating this video probably won't help my business get sales, right? The truth is, you're right. This one video, putting it online, probably will not land you a sale, right? When it comes to video services, maybe not. But what will? How about a continuously growing library of video after video after video that showcases you showing up and saying, hey, potential client, here's why I could be the best fit for you. We had this client come in, at some point. They were looking for a specific service. They had shopped around a little bit, but couldn't really find a great fit. And we walked them through an initial inquiry process, and it kind of gave them peace of mind. And they really enjoyed the process working with us. And we're so glad, we had the ability to kind of walk through that with them. And we love to do that with you. Like, what if there was a full library that just every single time, you recognized a customer's problem, you invited them to the solution, you're able to help them out. And you showed that in different ways. After, months of doing that, I didn't even say years, I said months of doing that, of showing that kind of meeting your customer where they are and not just simply trying to sell them, but really trying to see how you could be a solution to their problem. That will definitely get a sale, right? Okay, so that's getting calibrated, like really identifying what this doubt is. What is this imposter syndrome? Like, I have imposter syndrome about what? Why do I have it? Right? Most of the times the imposter syndrome, and we've talked about this on a previous episode. Feel free to check that out when you like. Most of the time, the imposter syndrome is not like, oh man, I wish I could be filming this stuff like this person. A lot of it is, I feel like the content that I film or the things that I post is normal. Like, it's something that everybody's doing. It's something that everybody knows. It's something that's not, new. It's default. It's a default programming, right? But we've come to recognize that no matter what it is, only you can reach the people that you can reach, right? You are built a specific way to reach a certain genre of people, whoever that is. And that makes your content relevant if we're able to produce purposeful content for that purpose, right? So that's step one. Calibrate. Remove the noise, identify the doubt, the imposter syndrome, answer those questions, right? And be able to look yourself in the mirror and say, okay, I recognize why I'm worried or fearful or doubtful about this, and I recognize the solution to that. So because of that, I no longer have that fear or that doubt or that imposter syndrome, right? Something I really have to check myself on every time creating this content, right? Because there's so much stuff out there all the time, right? Got to stay focused, right? Number two, and I've been kind of going to this a little bit throughout our conversation. For number one, number two, have laser focus on your customer and their problems, right? Again, so much content out there. You may feel as if you need to post everywhere for everyone to see everything that you post. It is a lie. It is not the truth, right? What you need is to figure out, how can I specifically target and focus on this audience right here? Out of all the stuff happening on social, how do I figure out a way to target this audience, right? And when I mean target, of course, I'm not saying, what I am saying is, you have this audience that is looking for this specific kind of end product, whatever it is, right? Okay, how do I figure out what their issues are? Like, the things that they are looking for? Because most people aren't just saying, yeah, man, I just need somebody for this specific, or I need somebody to do this thing. It's like they have an overarching issue and they need help finding the solution for it, right? So how do you even figure out that data? How do you retrieve the understanding of what your customers' problems even are? Now, if you've been doing video work for a little while now, that means you probably have clients that you've worked with, right? This is a goal of mine, starting out, right? Figure it out. Reach out to those clients. Hey, we're doing a little bit of client customer research, just to kind of further get into understanding our customer and who we've been able to satisfy and work with so far. You were an amazing customer to work with. I'd love if I could, get some coffee with you or lunch on me, whatever it is, and just kind of ask a few questions or host a virtual meeting. And I really would like to get some insight on what made you decide to choose us. There are many other videographers in the area. What made you decide to go with us? What was it about us, or what did we put out, or what was the conversation between us, or was there something I said? And then you find out, oh, it was when we had our initial phone call and I mentioned being able to come alongside your process and kind of help understand what you're looking for and developing a little bit of a plan. They really enjoyed that, because a lot of the times videographers tend to just want to show up and press record. So I really loved that that was the heart behind the production. Great. Okay. So that's a great, amazing start. So that's like the lowest hanging fruit, right? You're dealing with customers that you've worked with before. So now you recognize if that was a pain point for them, and that was how you answered their problem as you being the solution. Now you create content for that, right? Now, again, you have answered the solution to that problem. Now, what if you ended up doing this with 10 other things from 10 different customers, right? Now, you're not playing this, I'm trying to reach everybody for everything all the time. Now you're playing, no. These are the problems that we solve. Here's all here's the library of customers, of content, of working on site, of how we fulfill that. There's that. If this is you, if you're in this need, contact us, right? Do you understand how you're removing, again, all the distractions and saying, no, this is what we're focusing on. This is how we're going to pursue this, right? And that's amazing. Now, what if you don't have customers? Like, what if you're starting out for the first time, right? I always try to, I'm not the 4.0 valedictorian, in the threes from a GPA, college, I'm not, pretty sharp math, reading, writing, arithmetic. That's my, anywho. But what if you don't have any customers? What if you don't have any previous customers, right? You're doing whatever your business is. Let's just, keep it there for now. So begin with the common issues that people tend to have in that field, whatever it is, and figure out a way to gather that audience and ask questions. An example, a real estate videographer, I can say me, is looking for connections for real estate agents, and we're trying to serve the luxury listings, right? Like, where can I begin to get an understanding of how I could best serve agents, customers, figure out their problems as far as agents are concerned? Well, I start with what I know, right? We recently purchased a house. We had an agent. I could start with her, ask her questions, figure it out. Say, hey, I'm trying to reach into this market. I'd love to figure out, a little bit more of how it works with kind of the luxury listings. Do you have any insight on agents or maybe some of the difficulties that they tend to have when it comes to creating content for those higher end listings? I'd love to, see what you think. Or let's go. Sorry, it hurt. Let's go even more. Let's go out of video, right? Because it's like, well, Damien, your video company. Okay. I own an organic, healthier option cookie and dessert shop, right? So this is for people that are wanting the sweet treats without the fat and sugar, right? We have substitutes for it, but it's still delicious, right? But we, of course, need to get into the market, and we need to identify, are there even people that have that desire, in the area, right? So where do I find people to kind of figure out this problem, and if it's relevant, and if our shop is even relevant as a solution in the area, in the community, right? My immediate thought are families, moms, right? Just lowest hanging fruit. Where can I find moms that may be interested in something like this? I think of picking up their kids from daycare, or I think of certain kind of specific grocery stores. I think of after school programs. I think of boys and girls clubs and YMCAs and after school programs. And martial arts. Like there's so many different options, and being able to find them and say, hey, we just opened up an organic cookie and dessert shop downtown, and we're really trying to figure out where we fit into the community. Do you mind me asking, is that something you guys find relevant? Like trying to find desserts that aren't as sugarsome and aren't as high in just, I guess you could say fat, but just high in sugar and calories for your family? It's just, oh my goodness, all the time. I keep trying to find stuff in the store, but it's hard to find. Either they're like really expensive, or they're just, not that healthy for you. They're just not good. And I understand it's dessert, so I can't really say, it's dessert. But I just wish there was an option to kind of have my cake and eat it too, pun intended, right? Well, yeah, I would love to come on down, try some stuff out free of charge. Let me know what you think. I'd love to ask you some more questions. Now you're bringing an audience in, right? Now you're figuring out, okay, so this is a little bit of a need in the area. People actually desire trying to have healthy cookie and desserts in the area for a local community, and they want that for their families, right? They desire that healthier lifestyle, right? So now my content isn't just, hey, we have this new flavor. Hey, we have this new flavor. That's great. New cookies. That's great. New desserts, right? But now you're sharing the stories of, man, I met this mom at this Boys and Girls Club event, and she was really wanting to get just asked her. She was really wanting to get some healthier snacks for her family. And so we brought her in, showed her the thing, and she ended up actually signing up for a little bit of our subscription where we kind of send out cookies monthly or whatever, weekly, or during certain holidays of the year. And she loves it. She loves it for her family. She feels better because it's healthier options. It's not weighted down in just sugar. She loves it. The family loves it. It's a win-win. Boom. Now we're having relevant content that is focused on that audience. Does that make sense? Right. And I know you had to follow me a little bit on the story, but that's the point of the story. See, it draws you in. Right. So that's what I'm saying. And from there, that's just one parent. Now imagine if you ended up having a small group, right? A cohort that recommended your shop to other people, right? Now you're beginning to grow a following, people, an audience, a community, people that actually are invested into making sure that your company sticks around, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's how you develop the following with authenticity, right? You're not trying to say, hey, we have a sale, come buy from us. We have a sale, get the cookies. We're saying, no. That's cool and all, but how do I authentically and with relevance become the solution that they're actually looking for, right? Like beyond trying to get a sale, I actually want to make sure that I'm helping the community. I'm actually helping these people, right? And I want to showcase that so people can actually see that side, right? And invest not in just coming in one time to buy a cookie, but invest into the growing of the audience of the business, right? That's how you get people to share testimony, and that goes into the next step, the next tip. Number 3, right? So number 1, calibrate, removing the noise, removing the distractions. Number 2, laser focus on the customer and their problems, right? Number 3, create video content in these 4 categories. Now, in our workshop, we have an in-person workshop coming up very soon. In our workshop, we talk about these 4 categories of video that is pretty common in today's day of creating content online. I've categorized them into these 4 categories. You have story first, testimonial, a product review, or educational, right? So story first, start. Testimonial is pretty much like a Google review. A person reviews what it was like working with your business, right? So as you're posting content online, you reach to that person who came to the cookie shop and say, hey, thank you so much for supporting our business. I'd love if you would just share a little bit of what your experience was like working with us, what you enjoyed about the shop, our mission, what made you decide to even stay and come to us, and I'd love to just get your insight on that. That's a testimonial, right? Story first would be the same thing, but from the business owner's perspective, right? So the first one, the testimonial, would be the customer. Story first would be the business owner. So, man, we had an opportunity to bring in Maggie and her family. They really had a desire to have healthier cookie and dessert options. And we wanted to kind of show them a whole new world of what's possible when it comes to healthy desserts, right? And it was really cool to kind of have their minds opened to see the light bulbs come on and say, wow, these are really good, and it's actually sugar-free. And I enjoyed being able to kind of show them the possibilities. And the mom, Maggie, enjoyed it for her entire family. So that's what I call a win-win. So that's the story first side of it. So now you got both sides, right? Product review, right? This is for a cookie dessert shop. You're talking about a specific cookie. This is we're getting in spring now. This is the springtime tropical, cookie, whatever. And what's really cool about this is it's actually gluten-free. It's made with 100% date powder, right? And so what's really great about this powder is that not date powder, what's the other? There's another powder, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it doesn't spike your blood sugar when you eat it. And so it's not, like the white sugar. It's this kind of sugar. We'll just say it's the date powder for now, but it's not that. But it's fine. And it doesn't spike your blood sugar when you ingest it. So you can eat it a little bit knowing that, you're not spiking your blood sugar as you go through it. All natural ingredients made right here in the shop. Ingredients sourced locally here. We love this cookie. We'd love to share it with you. Come by, blah, blah, blah. You're sharing the review for the product. And then educational, the story of you can actually have your cake and eat it too, pun intended, right? And that's the conversation of you can have amazing tasting desserts and not be compounded with sugar and, lots of additives to your dessert and talk about those things, right? These are kind of the four main types of videos that are online now. Story first, testimonial, product review, or educational. Now that looks like many things. For the story first testimonial, that makes sense. For the product review, that could be many things. It could be talking about a cookie. It could be, a lot of times on my feed, I see talking about specific items that people are selling, or it can be I see a lot of real estate videos where people are filming walking through the houses. That's a product review, right? I see people sharing insight on things for an upcoming event. I have an in-person workshop coming up that is to help you streamline your online video content creation process. And that is the point of it. We want to help you with that process, right? And so that's the whole point of that workshop. So you have that kind of content as well that's more educational, right? And so now with this one client, this one customer that you've helped, Maggie, you're able to create 4 different pieces of content. Story first from your perspective, testimonial from her perspective, product review talking about the food, educational talking about behind the have your cake and eat it too. This is 4 for the price of 1. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now you're building again this library of relevance, of authenticity, right? That you can do quickly, especially if you sign up for the in-person workshop that we have coming up, or even online, where you can learn how to streamline the process, where you can create these 4 videos in 10 minutes, depending on how you have the stuff set up, right? That's what we're talking about. Okay, that's number 3. So we have calibrate, removing the noise, removing the distractions, removing the doubt. Number 2, sorry, did I say number 3? Number 1, calibrate, remove the noise, remove the doubt, remove the imposter syndrome. Number 2, laser focus on your customer and their problems. Number 3, create video content using those 4 categories, right? Number 4, follow up. Man, important. And it's really that simple. When people are responding online to things that you post, sending comments, or following you, or they're messaging you, invite the conversation. What made you decide to share a post? What are you liking most about the page? What would you like to see on our page? What would you like to see on our platform? What would you like? Just trying to have that conversation. The art of this is not trying to sell. It's just trying to become more and more relevant. The hope is that you get to the point where people have no choice but to flock to you. People that have the problems that you have the solutions for have no choice but to flock to you, right? And I think that's important. That's how you build relevance with authenticity. I think I just found the name for the podcast episode, right? Okay. So that's I'm gonna keep that simple. And you can follow up with all those things with the problem solution kind of formula, right? So in recap, we have 1, calibrating, remove the noise, remove the doubt, remove the imposter syndrome. And how do we do that? We ask ourselves, what is the problem? What is the thing? I have imposter syndrome. About what? About blah, blah, blah. Okay, why do you have that? Because I believe my stuff is just default. It's normal. Okay, but you're the only one that can reach your audience. You are the only one that can reach your audience, right? So make sure that your content is relevant and it is authentic and it reaches and hits those pain points of your customers' problems, right? Number 2, laser focus on your customer and their problems. Go out of your way to figure that out. If you have previous customers, reach out to them. Invite them out, coffee, lunch, whatever, virtual meeting. Figure out why they chose you. Figure out those problems, right? Number 3, create video content in one of the 4 categories or all 4 categories. Story first, testimonial, product review, educational, right? That is the way to go about creating relevant video content. And then number 4, follow up. When people respond online, people responding to your content, follow up with them. Thanks for sharing your response. I'm curious what made you like this video. They sent you a message. Absolutely. I can help you with your problem. Let's schedule a time to talk. Follow up, right? Follow up, right? And have a listening ear, right? And what is this podcast without adding a little bit of a bonus tip, if you will? Number 5, right? I want to add this one in. It's something that I'm actually working on doing a little bit more now. And this is just a way to kind of help with just peeking your head into maybe things that people that may have interest in you are already doing, right? Respond to headlines in your niche, right? So, for me, in the video world, that kind of a thing, let's just say, Canon drops a new camera, right? And they post about it, etc. I can share the post and then put it on my story and then have a video. It's like, I saw Canon just post a new camera. I see they finally added the feature where it has an unlimited record time. Man, I love that. Why? Because it allows me to make sure I have enough time engaging and getting the best kind of interviews, so I'm not rushed by a 30-minute time limit. I can really take my time and answer the questions. I know a lot of the times when we interview people, it's already pressuresome, right, to get them in front of the camera and the lights and the audio, and then somebody's interviewing them and all that stuff, and it seems very pressuresome, right? What they don't know is that some of these cameras have a recording time limit. So sometime during the recording, I'm going to have to pause it. I'm going to have to stop the recording, start it again, and then go about it. And a lot of times that's frustrating. Like, it kind of it kind of destroys the fourth wall, if you will. Third wall? Fourth wall. Yeah, fourth wall. And it's not cool, And so that's just another addition. Like, I love that I will not have to worry about recording limit anymore. And I feel like my customers will as well. What do you think? Like, do you care if the cameras have recording limits on it while you're being interviewed? Or does it really matter? You're just trying to get your interview done. What do you normally think? Let me know. And again, you're opening yourself up to getting responses, right? Most of the times, people that are going to respond to this are like, yeah, absolutely. Like, it's already tough to like show up and be in front of the camera and do all these things. Man, I would pay for someone to have that camera so we don't have to worry about that. Like, we can rent it or whatever we need to do, right? I agree so much. That's so awesome. What kind of project would you be working on where you need to rent out a camera? Like, what are you working on? Have the conversation started from there. We're working on this, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it's just a really cool, quick way to kind of add that. Right? Sweet. So there you go. Those are our 5 tips on just relevancy with authenticity when it comes to growing your presence and your following online. So hope this helped. Hope this gave some insight. If you have questions, feel free to let me know. Other than that, thank you so much for listening. Have a good day. Have a great rest of the week. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.